Hi all. So a while ago on YouTube, I stumbled down a wormhole of small kitchen appliance reviews. As I was looking to buy an air fryer and perhaps maybe a pressure cooker, that's when I stumbled across one of the worst YouTube chefs of all time. His name is Jack Scalfani, as I like to call him, Jack Salmonella Scalfani. I watch video after video of him butcher, sometimes quite literally, recipes. Imagine driving slowly past a multi-car pileup on the interstate. That's my face as I watched him teach the internet how to make partially cooked meals of varying types and taking awful and unneeded shortcuts to recipes that are already quick to prepare. The absolute horror of Jack's lazy man chefing, air quote, techniques to my boyfriend Tom. And now, since we can't unsee it, we are opening your eyes to it as well. I'm Michelle, and I welcome you to join us for this horrific journey, better known as Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man. Welcome back to Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man.
Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man. Hello, folks. Welcome to a special episode of the Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man podcast. We're giving you a twofer, as the Canadians say.
Yes, happy Pride Month, everybody. Today is June 1st when we're recording this episode.
Indeed.
And we have two similar episodes that we thought we could lump together because they were short ones. And they fit in the theme with Pride Month because... Yes. Wieners.
We're giving you two fistfuls of tube meat by Cooking with Jack.
My thought for this title for this podcast should be the phallic meat episode, the ketchup. Get it? Ketchup? Is you like to put ketchup on wieners episode?
We're not going to go with Jack's two-fisted tube meat roundup.
That sounds good, too.
Let's go ahead.
All right. Glad we got that settled.
Absolutely. See? Teamwork makes the dream work. We're going to be reviewing two videos for you. We'll count you down. We'll synchronize our YouTubulators. Then we'll basically say, okay, talk about this episode. And then we'll try to remember not to say, see you next week or whatever we say. And we'll try to go right to the next video. And we'll queue you up for that video. So the two videos we're watching are Pigs in a Blanket, Keto Friendly, that was released on April 29th.
3,481 views. Now this was released almost a month ago, so that's pretty dismal.
Well, like most of his videos, we were watching a Jack on the Go video today from like 6 years ago, and it had 30,000 views on it. And I'm like, wow, how the mighty have fallen. Because the second video we're watching with you this time out is called Meat Twinkies.
That was just released this week on May 31st. In contrast to the one that was released a month ago, Meat Twinkies has 2,289 views. So it's almost caught up to the other video, and it's only been released for, what, a day?
They're getting close to the ceiling. His videos don't do anything more than like 4,000, 4,200
5,000 if it's maybe really egregious and upwards.
He's getting more traction out of the Jack on the Go videos, but that's because people are probably searching for those restaurant names.
Yeah, he's just getting in the picker.
Arby's. He does Buffalo Wild Wings. It's just the algo is recommending those videos to people who are like, I want to find out what's being served at Buffalo Wild Wings before we go.
And I think the keto ones tend to do a little bit better because he gets into that keto algorithm with the other keto videos.
He gets recommended. So if you're watching a keto video and you're watching the keto twins making their chaffles or something, then it's like, oh, what about keto twins? What about pigs in a blanket? Keto.
And then you come up to Jack.
Exactly. And you're like, my God, he's saying it's keto, meaning he thinks it's somehow healthy, but if you check the nutritional packaging on either of these videos, there's an awful lot of saturated fat and an awful lot of sodium involved here. And any nutritionist worth their salt, will tell you that the last thing you want to do is eat both of these things in a week of eating, much less double the recipe as he's about to do.
What's interesting here is the last episode we talked about the wings that he was smoking, the smokiest, strokiest wing. And we talked about he was wearing the orange shirt and the ladle was in the background.
Yep.
And he's wearing the same shirt and the ladle is in the background on this video as well, I believe.
Well, this is the pre-cut intro. The interesting thing about the smokiest wings is that's the video where we noticed that he shot the introduction.
Yeah, but he's wearing the same shirt, and I believe the ladle is in the background too. Whether or not he changed shirts, recorded these all on the same day, it's anyone's guess. That's something to mention here, because we didn't really talk about the new intro. Basically, the fabled Glenn Scott Lacey intros of the the Cooking with Jack and the Jack on the Go show have been replaced by Jack's new elite $3,500 MacBook, M-A-C-K book.
M1 MacBook.
So he's doing all of his own editing on the MacBook now. He's trying new techniques, new cuts, new edits, new little things that he's doing with the MacBook. It's not working out. It's looking just as bad, if not worse, as it did before. The people have spoken and they want their old intros back.
Pretty much. I mean, Jack's audience primarily, the only thing left in Jack's audience now are hate watchers.
Yeah.
And people who do it for satirical comment and fair use, as Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man do. And we're the new introductions are too generic. We like the old music. It was quirky, but it was his.
The best part for me, since we're going over Cooking with Jack episodes here, with this new intro is the last like 5 seconds before it cuts to whatever the video is, he does a little head tilt and he smiles at the camera vacantly, and it just cracks me up every time I see it. It makes me smile and it makes me laugh. Not in the ways that make me like joyful to watch something that Cooking with Jack is making. Just wow, have the mighty fallen, as you said before.
In Jack's older videos, when you watch him do these things, he has this sense of like, I'm gonna be famous. Like, you're looking at a guy who's looking down at the camera and he's like, look, you know and I know that this is my small time, that pretty soon you're gonna see me on Food Network. So look at me now, guys, and you can say you remember me when. Now he's just basically like, remember me? Remember me? Am I still relevant?
Yeah.
Are you still, who am I? Now, he's trying to convince people. He's like the baseball player in the Bruce Springsteen song Glory Days, you know, who peaked in high school and then could never recapture that glory. He's tilting his head at the camera like, you know me, I'm just the big man clown who sits here and eats all the bad food for you so you don't have to. Ha.
The other funny thing to note about the intro, well, he does like, he's ducking the flying words that say Cooking with Jack as they're flying in, which is his new editing techniques.
Which is a callback to one of his first video introductions on his older videos, which was probably not his idea. Because remember, he had a lot... Jack's post-production used to be way more sophisticated, which...
We think that he was paying someone at the time, and then as his view count has dropped, so have the help. The people behind the scenes.
He's insourcing a lot. He's downsizing or right-sizing.
Right-sized, yes.
Jack is now right-sized.
But the funny thing here is he has a bowl of nothing and he's whisking it, and he's just staring blankly into the camera like there's nothing there anymore. Do you know
why he has the bowl? If you look at his Bitmoji that he ripped off of Bitmoji, that he's putting on all his merch now, his slides, his hats, his shirts.
Oh, the bucket bowl, hat.
Right. In that video, in that Bitmoji, he has a red bowl with a black whisk, and he's whisking some kind of batter. Of course, you and I know Jack doesn't have any upper body strength left to whisk anything, even a creme fraiche in that bowl. So Jack decided to fake it. But again, Jack rushes through his videos without any sense of frame or composition or quality. So he's like, oh, I can see in the bowl, but nobody's going to notice that. Nobody will notice. We noticed, Jack. We noticed.
And as he's ducking and dodging these words that are coming in off the screen, his stroke arm is just dangling in the breeze. And it's just, there's so many layers of the onion. And I don't know where to look first, but the first time I saw this intro, I burst out laughing, and I had to rewatch it and we rewatched it on the stream a number of times because we couldn't believe, like, we couldn't get enough of it. It's a sight to see. That's all I'll say. If you have not seen the new Cooking with Jack intro, definitely tune into a new video, check it out, and let us know your thoughts on it because
when we get into this video, they're going to watch it along with us.
Let's synchronize the old YouTubulators, as the kids say.
All right, folks, like Pink Chicken says, synchronize your YouTubulators. We are going to be hitting play on Pigs in a Blanket, Keto Friendly, released April 29th, 2022. 348 views as of this recording. Hitting play in 5, 4, 3, 2,
1. Okay, we're into the intro. Jack's ducking and dodging.
Words are flying in from the frame left to frame right.
Cueing his dog that's making the whiny sound, which sounds like a distress call.
Yes.
And then bam, we're into the show. All right, so like I said, he's wearing the same shirt from the intro plus the ladles in the background. Whether or not it's filmed the same day, we don't know. What's interesting here is Jack seems to just be like, he's kind of rushed. Like he just came in from outside, he's got his hat on, and then the hat disappears.
After lots of things change, he talks in a wide shot. It's kind of level, and it's well lit in the beginning. We'll point it out when it changes for you guys. Then he cuts to a slightly medium shot showing off his ingredients. He's already dumping stuff in. So the thing that makes this keto is he makes a pigs in a blanket recipe. In the dough, he uses almond flour, not wheat flour.
He also dumps in an entire bag of mozzarella cheese, cream cheese, salt, and was it 2 eggs? Something like that. And then like a whole...
Which makes me curious if he doubled the recipe. Given the amount of flour that he put in here to begin with, I feel like 2 eggs would be for the single recipe and 4 eggs would be for the double recipe, because his dough comes out really dry.
One other thing to note here, the little smokies or the weenies or the cocktail weenies, whatever you want to call them.
Our friends up north would call it cocktail sausage.
They came in a package that looked like it came from Sam's Club. We tried to look and see if we could match it up on Sam's Club's app. The best we can come up with is...
Bag's at an oblique angle, so we couldn't really make it out, but compared to the branding to what's sold at Sam's Club and Walmart, we believe that these are Hillshire Farms Beef Lil Smokies.
And they retailed for like $12, $18. I can't remember the ounce size, but the normal size is a 12-ounce container, so these were like double that.
Jack, in the meantime, is still mashing his dough ball together with his hand. He initially starts out using a food service glove, but he gets no love out of that, so he takes the glove off so he can feel the dough ball better. Jack likes to feel his balls.
And when he dumps out the dough, it's not together. It's not cohesive. It's not one ball of dough. It's like crumbly. It's kind of like broken into like a couple different pieces.
A lot of keto doughs are drier than they are because there's no glutens to build up here. You don't have a lot of wheat gluten, a lot of proteins of binding and stuff together, so it's very disincorporated. You're supposed to mix it very well, but again, he's working with one limb here.
Now, you would think, because the way that this is shot... first of all, we should point out, when he was mixing the dough, he did not take off his ring, he did not take off his Apple Watch.
He never does.
They all have the egg and the whatever weird goo in it. The way that he makes this recipe, you would not think that Tammy is in the background. It's until like much later in the video, like almost halfway through, where you hear her voice yelling at the dog to stop because the dog was squeaking that pig toy that it has.
Yes.
You would think that his wife, seeing her husband struggle as he is here trying to roll out the dough, would come over and offer to help. No.
In fact, he makes specific mention before the video. Oh. So at 2 minutes and 55 seconds into it, we're a little bit past that here, but at 2 minutes and 55 seconds, I noticed that the lighting changed. And what happened is when he flopped his dough ball onto the board and went to cover it with the rolling pin, he was talking about, and now my wife is gonna have to help me roll out the dough.
And she never did.
Spoiler alert, she didn't. But what probably happened was there was probably a little bit of a fight, or some words were exchanged between mommy wife Tammy and man-child Jackie. Probably what happened was she stormed off and either hit the light or turned the light off on purpose, or made him wait, and then he was just like, I gotta get on with my video, sweetie.
Or like they had to take the dog out, so they had to turn everything off, and then they brought the dog back in and turned everything back on.
And then she still refused to cooperate. Something happened. They turned the light back on, but Jack, either in a fit of rage or just because Jack is Jack, not paying attention, he didn't turn the other light on. So past like the 3 minute and 20 seconds when they pull wide again, you'll notice that the video is darker. It's darker because he didn't turn the light frame left back on.
So he rolls out the dough and it's pretty thick. And I said to Lazy Man, I'm like, I remember I don't eat hot dogs, as we all know, because we've talked about this a number of times on the show.
Well established, Pink Chicken has a thing about Tubemeat.
My mom has made something similar to this with hot dogs and crescent rolls, like from Pillsbury, like you pop the can open. When you look at this dough, the way that it's rolled out, and you think about the crescent roll that you get out of the can, they're a hell of a lot thinner than this. Yeah. He did not roll this out thin enough. He probably could have even cut these thicker if the dough itself was rolled out a little bit thinner.
4 minutes and 26 seconds into the video, we see he has 2 full baking trays with his super little silicone baking mats on the bottom of them. I counted, I believe there's 18 in the tray closest to him, and at least double that, if not more, in the tray closest to the camera. So we're talking about 40 of these little brats. We have about 40 of these little wieners that he has now taken what looks like a half stick of butter at least, mixed it with some kind of either garlic or garlic powder, maybe even his dried
minced garlic.
He's made a butter sauce that he's now going to sauce the blankets with.
Yeah, to give them a crust when he puts them in the oven. Now, the saving grace with these here are, the weenies themselves are pre-cooked. So the only thing you really have to do is warm them through and then obviously bake the dough because there's raw egg in it.
Right.
He does that. He manages to do that somehow, and they actually don't come out looking terrible. The thing here isn't the technique, it's the portion size.
It's a little deceiving because what looks like a typical bread dough wrapped around the wiener is actually almond flour and a fuck ton of mozzarella cheese.
Yes.
And the cream cheese, which has a lot of fat in it. So what's happening here is it's going to get extra golden brown and bakey, and it's going to be very hard to burn that because of all the grease leaking out of it. So it's not going to dry out and burn right away because there's so much binding and there's so much fat in there that those little puff pastries wrapped around each weenie is going to be really super saturated with fat.
What did you say the serving size was for the weenies?
The serving size for the Hillshire Farms Beef Lil Smokies cocktail sausages that he's using here is not egregiously bad for a pre-processed, commercially made Tubemeat product. The serving size is a generous 5 links. You would think it would be 2 or 3, but it's actually 5. Not so much the sodium. The sodium's maybe about 18% of your RDA, so this should be your treat for the day. But the saturated fat is what kills you. There's 35 grams of saturated fat. So that means each one of those little guys has 7 grams of saturated fat in it.
Would you say, like, if you put 5 of them, like, end to end, would that equal, like, a normal size hot dog, do you think?
They're much thinner. The circumference of them is much thinner than a hot dog. A different meat combination in there. The big thing with this is the carbohydrates in the almond flour, because if you're thinking, well, how many of these could I possibly eat? Now, we know Jack has doubled the recipe, even though there's 2 people living in that house, so unless he's going out the back porch and throwing into the pack of ravenous homeless bums that live around his house, that he throws all this
or
excess
taking them to
tonnage
Junior's.
of food. Right. Hopefully they'll cross by Crumble Cookie, and they got to give that one place one more chance. Got to give Crumble Cookie one more chance.
Obviously.
Can't pass that up.
No.
But yeah, he's making about 50 of these little guys. God forbid he puts them in his fridge and just eats them as his daily snackage, when mommy wife has to go off to her day job, because he's really packing on the sodium and fat. If you think about it, it's about 20%. It's about 1/5 of your daily amount of sodium. He's not going to stop at 1 serving. He's not going to stop at 5. He's going to eat 10 or a dozen of these, or a plate full of them. So that's like 3 or 4 times of that. Now you're already dangerously high to your US RDA intake of sodium and saturated fat. And the whole point of keto, this is what Jack doesn't understand. The whole point of keto is not eat as much meat and cheese as you could shove in your gullet. The whole point of ketogenic is small amounts of food. It's supposed to be caloric restriction, but you're blowing out your fat macro because that satiates the appetite. If you're eating potato chips or you're eating pretzels, you just get hungrier and hungrier because the carbohydrates trick your body into thinking it's found a good fuel source. Whereas if you eat a whole bunch of fat, your body's like, can't take in too much of this, so it stops it. That's why keto dieters have things called fat bombs, where it's basically cream cheese dipped in chocolate. It satiates your sweet craving, and then the fat, supposed to satiate your appetite. Jack just thinks of it as yet one more thing to binge.
We stopped the video at 4:47 to go on that rant. We were at the end product here, and admittedly, they don't look terrible. It's the portion size, because Jack's not just going to be able to pop 1 wiener in his mouth. He's going to pop multiple wieners in his mouth.
Happy Pride Month, everybody. It's about 5 minutes into the video. I noticed that the video got considerably darker. That's when I noticed that his left hand, the frame left fill light that he uses is completely out. So when he rolled out his dough, he forgot to turn it back on, or something happened. Now he's changed out the baking trays. He's now got his serving trays out. He's got about 20 on the front tray, and then tucked over there by the stove underneath the cafe sign. We see you, cafe sign. And where the books are, where he used to have his little phone charger hanging out, and the K-cup holder is gone.
It's out of frame anyway.
We see at least 15 to 20 more stacked on a plate over there. So Pink Chicken and I are trying to figure out which plate is he eating now? Which plate is he going to tell Tammy that he made?
One plate is for Tammy and one plate is for Jack.
Oh,
and they're just going to sit on the couch and shovel them in.
I have not noticed Tammy eating any food even vaguely resembling this.
I have to agree with you there. I don't think this would be her thing. I don't know. Maybe she's going to tell him to bag them up and put them in the fridge for later, midnight snacking, who knows.
He's going to try one here on camera. He's going to look around, find the one that he wants, talk about how he's been fantasizing about that one shoved in the corner, and then, like a good food host, shoves the whole goddamn thing in his mouth and chews for like 15 seconds on air.
Yeah, he doesn't take a nibble, doesn't take a little bite and taste it and then talks. No, he just shoves it all in.
Rachel Ray has said there is an art to eating on camera. Jack turns it into a porno.
And he's going in for a second one. So now we are at 2. So 2, right. If you consider the 5 recommended serving, he's almost halfway there.
Through his serving, and he's not even through the goddamn filming of the video, right. Much less that he's sitting on his counter singing to him.
And the way that he bites these, he bites them and looks up at the ceiling like he's some kind of meat sommelier, which continues on throughout the next video too, which we'll get into here. Something that's happening once again, which used to happen back when he was promoting the Convoy of Hope, that was about, 2 years ago, where he would fill 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, I think we got at one point, of title card, of end credit. We're now getting the Jack Bitmoji with a little Hope clip art stolen dog, and
that clip art doesn't look like a purebred beagle.
It does not. And the clock, which is also stolen. We just get, at least in this video, we have 30 seconds of it. The next video gets more egregious.
20 seconds of his stolen clip art graphics, his stolen Bitmoji graphics, and silence. I think there was one video more recently where he's put his regular QR code to his regular links.
Yeah, like he, instead of directing people to the link tree with one QR code, he has like one for his Facebook group, he has one for his Twitter, he has one for, I forget what the other
store.
Merch store.
It was Amazon merchandise store. So, every way Jack tries to squeeze out a little bit more revenue from you good folks.
That's the end of that video.
That's keto pigs in a blanket, folks.
Now we're moving on to meat Twinkies, which is also phallically shaped.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. Love is love, whether it's a wiener or an even more disgusting wiener.
Right. Jack's idea of flying the rainbow flag to show his corporate sponsorship of LGBTQ plus community. Rather than unfurling rainbow, Jack unfurls streaky bacon.
We're gonna unsynchronize the YouTubulators, and then we're gonna resynchronize them.
This video is about 6 minutes and 33 seconds in length. It premiered on May 31st, 2022. Only 2,200 views, 2,289 views upon it. Synchronize your YouTubulators. We are hitting play in 5, 4, 3, 2.
We're in the intro now. Same deal that we talked about before.
Right. The problem with the new intro is it's in Jack's kitchen, or as he calls it, the set. It's not.
The new intro is about, say, 15 seconds.
Yep.
Give or take.
15 seconds exactly.
But we have new merch that Jack is wearing in this video.
The red shirt with the stolen Bitmoji graphic on it, and the C.W.J, which we've made calls to before. Nobody watching this video, and nobody who sees Jack wearing that shirt out in public, is going to understand that C.W.J stands for Cooking with Jack, and understand that Cooking with Jack is a YouTube show fronted by Jack on YouTube. They're going to see C.W.J. C.W.J is 3 letters. 3 letters on a shirt is a monogram. That's somebody's initial. So when Jack is spurging in an Arby's or a Buffalo Wild Wings or some local delicatessen in the greater Murfreesboro, Tennessee area where he resides and pretends to be a celebrity, someone sees them coming into their restaurant with that shirt on it. When they see that shirt, all they're thinking is, oh, someone made a monogram shirt for the special needs guy. Look at that. Charles W. Jerkovsky. Hey, Chucky, is it okay? They must get confused when his mommy wife, who they mistake for his social worker, calls him Jack. So maybe they think like his last name is Jackson.
Oh.
So it's like Curtis Willis Jackson, and they think he's like Jack, like for the J, because the letters are out of order, but who knows?
He has a new line of hats with the Tennessee orange color, which he's wearing in this episode too.
Yeah, after been 8 years of living in Tennessee, Jack finally recognizes that the colors of the local college football team are orange and black or something like that. So that's why he's changing all of his logos to, because his California dreaming days are long behind him.
Yeah, he's a full-blown Tennessean now.
Yes, indeed. I noticed there's a little thing going on differently, because again, we noticed that sometime in April he re-recorded his introduction, which I said gets a little awkward because in in the introduction, he's wearing the orange shirt. In this video, he's wearing the red shirt. So it just jump cuts because in his set, his camera is locked down on a tripod. So any move like that is going to be interpreted as a jump cut or a smash cut, as the kids call them these days. It just looks awkward. And normally in good video production, they would have you cut away to a close-up or cut away to a graphic and come back if you're going to be reusing the same framing of the same location.
Well, Lazy Man, he puts that dong noise in there, so that's good enough for him.
Oh, yeah, okay. I can correct it. Perfectly fine.
We're stuck here at 17 seconds to go on that rant. The thing to note here is there's 3 ingredients in this entire recipe. Oh, right. No, I'm sorry. There's 4 ingredients if you include the seasoning. There's the sausage, which confuses him because he forgets what he bought because it's like some kind of Irish blend sausage, whatever.
Right.
So these might have been hanging around in the Scalfani freezer for a couple weeks, like after, maybe they bought them for St. Patrick's Day. Like they may have bought these for St. Patrick's Day, put them in the freezer, and then Jack found them and was like, what could I do with these?
I find a different theory here. I think this is just mommy wife's typical grocery shopping. Got some cheese sticks for the man-toddler to nibble on while she goes to the day job. Got some bacon because you can always never have too much bacon with Jack around. And then she bought the sausages thinking, well, he'll do something with these. Or we'll use them for breakfast or something. Because they don't really seem like a dinner sausage. Seems like something Walmart would have on sale. Maybe they were on sale because they were St. Patrick's Day leftovers.
Possibly.
And mommy wife's
they
just like,
threw them in the freezer.
We're
right.
just buying those. They don't look like, the packaging doesn't look like it was ever frozen. So I think this is just stuff. I think this is mommy wife bargain shopping.
Or maybe he recorded it a couple weeks prior, because we get videos in arrears all the time with Jag. So that's possible too.
Well, the shirt kind of says newer, and also the ladle is gone.
Oh, the ladle is gone.
So, yeah. And if you notice, the Ninja Foodie in the corner is rearranged. And also, on the left-hand side of the frame, I noticed there's now a little night light or something where the phone plugs in to charge it, where the coffee syrups are.
Oh, yeah.
See, there's a little light over there now.
Yeah. There's 4 ingredients here. The sausages, the bacon, the cheese sticks, and then the whole,
metric fuck ton of seasoning.
Yeah, the whole fuck ton of seasoning that he puts on here. And there's 2 different ones. So I'm only counting it as one ingredient, because seasoning is seasoning.
So essentially, Jack was looking around for an idea. He searched the fridge for what mommy's wife's leftovers, or what I think she buys stuff just to be like, well, he'll make something out of this. Jack caught this on a TikTok.
Definitely.
Keto.
It's a TikTok recipe.
Right, because this looks like the kind of thing that you could easily make a recipe video and do one of those 60-second ultra short videos. Sausage, boom, cut open, boom, cheese, boom, bacon wrap, boom, cook, done.
And most people could do it that quickly, but not our Jackie, because he has mobility issues.
Nope, we are hitting play and watching the struggle bus happen. So Jack starts off his video. He's talking about his dog Hope barking in the background, trying to pretend that that's just a comical part, a little sideshow for you guys, a little comic relief.
The Johnsonville, it says Irish garlic sausages.
Right.
So they're not brats, like he keeps saying here, or brats as he calls them.
Right. He doesn't understand the word brat.
And there's, I think brats are from England, and if these are Irish, they wouldn't be a part of.
Is German.
These wouldn't be part of bangers and mash. Irish sausage would not be part of bangers and mash. That's an English dish. That's what I was thinking of. Because he mentions bangers and mash. Then he starts to count the sausages. There's 5 that you get. You don't get 6. But he had 6 cheese sticks lined out.
And then the math baffled him.
Yes.
There was like a minute and a half of him going, but 5, but 6, but 5.
He's like, just count them.
Now comes the danger part of our program, ladies and gentlemen. At 1 minute and 33 seconds, Jack attempts penile surgery on the bratwurst.
Somebody, and it was fairly recently, sent the show as, how Jack portrays his lives to his audience, an assistive adaptive cutting board for situations like this. You think he would fucking use it? Hell no. He wants to go dangerous.
Right.
Go dangerous or go home. Now, he doesn't take off the casing of these sausages. He leaves them on the sausage and then just kind of folds it around. He cuts them in half and folds them around the cheese.
Right.
To me, I would think that the loose sausage you get, like the ground sausage, would be much easier to shape around these
much like he did with the pigs in the
meat
blanket.
Twinkies. And the next step, after you stuff it with cheese as best as you can, fold the sausage around the cheese.
2 minutes and 27 seconds in, now we have this this very awkward rolling of the meat Twinkie in the bacon.
Now,
Jack doesn't roll properly because it should be 1 strip of bacon per meat Twinkie. Jack has to double a recipe.
Yeah, so he puts 2 slices of bacon. Luckily, these are not the thick cut bacons. They look like the normal size bacon, so he didn't screw it up that way. Because you're doubling it up in the center, which is where they're meeting, that's where the thickest part of the bacon is going to be and be the hardest to cook all the way through. Right.
He's making a French tickler of pork belly in the middle of his meat Twinkie. Again, happy Pride Month.
After they're all rolled, which probably took him an hour, he just dumps and dumps and dumps.
He grabs the nearest bottle of seasoning that he can.
And it's the Cosmo Q blend that he had the 19-minute video featuring all of the seasonings, all the sauces.
That he said they sent him in good consideration for being part of his show. I want it stated for the record here that we're into the month of June already, several days past the release of the Cosmos Q seasoning rub video. I check on a daily basis the Cosmos Q seasoning website and attached social media properties. Not a damn word has been spoken about their new partnership with Jack Scalfani or Cooking with Jack.
Because they're not aware of it. Because who sponsored the show? It was Mommy Wife's credit card, her bottom line. And they wrote it off.
As we noted in the seasoning video, there was a sticker on top of his cardboard box that his seasonings were shipped in that said very clearly, "Thank you for your order. Your order was packed by," and I believe the name on it was Jen, which basically means that order was a standard shipping and fulfillment order for them. I mean, it went through their standard sales process. If it would go through their public relations or marketing department, you wouldn't have had that sticker on the box, because it's basically like you didn't place an order on their e-commerce site. You sent them an email to their advertising or marketing office, and somebody would send that out by hand.
And there's no way that they would have sent him $205 worth of product. They would have sent him maybe 2 rubs, maybe two sauces, something like that.
Well, they might have, but curiously, those 3 packs of items that he got were all on sale.
He just did a video on this, so he already has these. So he went over painstakingly every rub, every sauce, everything that they sent him. And he's sitting here dumping the seasoning on, layers and layers of the seasoning.
After mispronouncing the name of the company.
And he can't remember the name of the company he just did a video on.
And he won't stop, as we always point out with Jack. He won't stop, go back, read it properly, stop the tape, look at the hit record again, and do another take. And cut it in. If you notice, he's using the garlic jalapeno barbecue seasoning rub. So he's putting jalapeno seasoning, and he's loading it up. That's why we've noticed some people who watch this video, who've already given their take on the video, are like, why does he dump so much seasoning on it?
Because it's jalapeno. Right. And he doesn't want Tammy to take any of his meat wieners.
Right. And
meat
for
Twinkies.
As much as they eat at strip mall Tex-Mex's places, everybody knows Mommy Wife Tammy don't get down on the jalapeno.
So he goes and he dumps. It had to be like 1/4 of a cup per... It feels like 1/4 of a cup.
It's at least 3 to 4 tablespoons of barbecue seasoning, this garlic jalapeno seasoning on each meat Twinkie.
Then he comes back through. I don't know if we see this part, but there's a Kinder's that he rubs on too. And that one was like a red garlic. I don't know what all the ingredients were on that.
Probably red pepper.
Red. It was red tinted.
At some point in the video, you'll see he'll flash both bottles on there. Oddly enough, a well-aliased cropped picture of both bottles. He must have taken them from their website.
Pause the video here for a second. We're at 3:41. We get the next shot, which is them being pulled out of the oven on the tray. And if you remember the Cronenberg, how that came out after they were finished.
The tray full of afterbirth the food was laying upon.
Yes.
Burnt and laying in cream.
And grease and burnt.
Just puddles of white and puddles, crusts of burnt black.
Yeah, you just don't know what exactly it is.
Right. This looks like the bottom of Darth Vader's Bacta tank for those of you watching the new Kenobi series. I found episode 3 particularly meaningful. I don't know what he's talking about.
Then we have 5 meat Twinkies that are done here.
But what has clearly happened in 3 minutes and 41 seconds here is Jack has either done these too long, or there's too much grease and fat involved that has basically circulated to the inside of the meat Twinkies, and the cheese has run out of them.
Well, what I would think, I mean, if I was to make these, which I wouldn't, you would want to put them on a tray, to elevate them up
you want to put them on a wire rack.
Right. So
the heat circulates around them evenly, cooks the seals.
Right.
Or you would do a a skewer, hold the bacon on there, but also to allow for heat to flow through the meat Twinkie.
The bacon looks pretty done. It looks a little burnt in certain areas, which you can't really tell here because this is a hot mess. The Twinkie on the furthest on the left is leaking out.
It looks like it's
excitement fluid.
It looks like it's very happy to be there.
Yes, and the other three don't seem as bad, like they're not leaking the cheese out. The second from the
has burnt and adhered to the top of the bacon.
Oh yeah, the second from the left one has cheese leaking out of the top of it.
4 minutes and 3 seconds. He throws them on a plate. You can see 4 of them seem okay.
Oh, pause that.
Oh, look at that.
4 minutes and 9 seconds is when he pulls in the rubs that he used. So we knew about the garlic jalapeno one because he showed us that on camera.
Right.
But the other one he puts on here is a Kinder's, and that one is called red garlic, but it's crushed red jalapeno, so double jalapeno,
right,
and garlic. So he put both of these on there.
This is what would be known as a Tammy deterrent system. So what happened is mommy wife Tammy's gonna come home from work. She's gonna be looking for a snack. Jack is gonna be like, oh, I made these for the show today, sweetie, but you're not gonna want them. They're a little spicy. And she's gonna rip off a piece and go, fuck you, I'm gonna eat it. Pop it in her mouth and go, oh my god damn, what'd you do? So, swim these in jalapeno pepper powder? Yes, he did.
And you have to,
he did it on purpose.
We didn't look at the blend here of what's in each of these rubs, but you could imagine there's probably a good bit of salt in each of them.
Oh, yes.
And MSG.
These aren't meant to coat a snack. This isn't a condiment.
Right.
These are barbecue seasonings. You're supposed to get a giant multi-pound piece of beef or pork roast and rub these all over. It's supposed to cook out mostly. It's supposed to help render the fat out of the fiber of the meat, to induce flavor in the meat. It's not meant to be a condiment as Jack uses it.
When he plates them up here, the one that's on the plate all the way on the left, now I don't know if he put these in order as they were on the tray.
The word charnel house.
But the one all the way on the left there
looks cremated.
It's completely dead, yes. He goes in, takes a bite.
Can't help himself, can't wait. Just literally as soon as the graphic goes down at 4 minutes and 29 seconds.
I don't even think they cooled off, to be honest with you. Takes a bite, looks to the left, gets a like a Woody.
Well, I think
covers his mouth.
Because I think what's happening here is that jalapeno powder is hitting him. Because don't forget, Jack is a wussy, as he claimed in the Swayze's Pub Jack on the Go video.
Yeah.
Jack's not into hot food, even though he coats stuff in hot food so Tammy won't eat it. He doesn't actually enjoy his food that hot. And he coated this in 2 different jalapeno rubs.
This is some real dysfunction. Like, he needs therapy or something like that.
There has to have been a come to Jesus moment between Jack and Tammy where she's like, look, idiot, I know what you're doing. You're coating this shit in jalapeno juice and powders so I don't eat it. Don't think I don't know what you're doing, but if you're gonna do that, make as much as you want for yourself. Just make me something. There has to be a moment where she leveled with him. And you know how Jack reacts like a slingshot when you try to level with him and treat him like an adult. He goes even more toddlerific.
When you go low, he goes even lower. He has a full-on foodgasm. Just watch his facial expressions from the time he plates these. When he takes the first bite, his eyes roll back into his head at some point. Let's see if we can get the timestamp here for you guys. It's after, okay, he bites it, he kind of chews it a little bit. He gets like a little smirk.
Looks back to the camera.
Covers his mouth.
That's when the jalapeno hit.
And then looks down.
Gonna take another bite.
Takes another bite. Oh, nope.
Nope, decides not to take another bite. He's gonna lick his fingers though, because that's what he's been doing in the later videos.
Oh, right there.
About 4 minutes and 52 seconds into
Just watch his eyes. That's all you have to do. Right. At one point, they roll back into his head.
Now, confusingly, in drops the report card.
Yeah, I think he forgets where he is. He had such a good foodgasm. He forgot what show he was shooting for.
In the latest Jack on the Go video, he actually reverted back to the old Jack on the Go theme, which we thought was unusual because he's decided to move on from that period of the shows.
Yeah.
And now he's doing different music, more Tennessee, more country and western guitar music. But now that's out the window, so we don't know. And here, normally on the Cooking with Jack show, if Jack likes a recipe he's made, he names it a
home run
recipe.
And he brings in the little baseball and it makes a doing noise.
Right, it makes the doing noise. Everybody loves the doing noise. Here, he drops in the report card and gives it an A as if this were a restaurant on Jack on the Go.
He's really proud of himself here. He really is.
Well, wrapping that bacon took a hell of a lot of effort for a guy with only one good arm.
Not just the wrapping part. I think that was the easier part. Right. The cutting, the surgery part. Yeah. That was what was hard for him. Because it looked like he had to cut them in half once and then flip them around and then cut them again. That's easy when you have 2 working hands. But when you have 1 functioning hand, you have to stop, reposition it, re-grip it, cut it. Whereas he could be using that assistive cutting device advice and helping him. Now, this one, as we talked about in the last video, has the title card situation going on again. This time we have over a minute of dead air, like with the Jack's merch, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Cooking with Jack community,
if
QR
you notice
codes.
in the lower right-hand corner, he's got the little, he has not yet updated the bug for those people out there who make YouTube videos. You know how YouTube allows you to create that little watermark, but it's a tiny graphic, a little 100 pixel by 100 pixel graphic in the lower right-hand corner of your YouTube frame. Jack has that on this video, but it's the old Cooking with Jack in his South Park gear sitting on top of the frying pan.
What bothers me about this outro card...
So Jack, if you're listening, and
I'm sure you are.
Enough, you are. Just remember, buddy, change out your icon in your YouTube studio.
He has these tiles for each.
Yeah, those are bathroom tiles
with the QR code. But he has the tiles, and then he has the QR codes, and they're kind of like offset to each other.
Right.
It's like if he was smart, what he could do is resize them so they'd fit in one of those tiles, and then line them up with the tiles. Like, this sets off my OCD really bad.
Well, see, the problem is Jack doesn't know how to scale things. I'm wondering if he actually made this in YouTube Studio, if he imported those graphics, or if this is in his nonlinear editing program that he did this end card in. I'll have to study this a little bit more. You notice here is the Cooking with Jack, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Jack's merch aren't exactly centered to each other.
They're not.
They're kind of, everything's kind of like leaning right, and also those QR codes, you use a program like QR Code Generator to generate them, and then you download the QR code graphic that it gives you. So it makes basically a little square JPEG. Jack obviously doesn't know how, or doesn't feel comfortable resizing the JPEG because he doesn't know how small the QR code can be resized. You could resize a QR code down to about 1/6 of an inch on its
My
side.
stance on this is he doesn't have the fine motor skills to do it. Remember, he's using the opposite of his primary hand. It's possible he doesn't have the fine motor skills to do that. He's had a stroke, 2018? We're coming up on 5 years now. You would think at some point in those 5 years you would learn how to work around it, almost become ambidextrous, because you're
You would think after
it.
15 years of being a cook on YouTube, you learn how to cook something and not burn bacon.
Well, there's that too. And it's interesting because he has 12 bacon cookers and he still burns bacon.
Indeed.
So I think that's it. We're done.
I think we're at the end of this rainbow, folks. Thank you for joining us here on our Two-Fisted Pride Month salute to Tubemeat by Cooking with Jack, brought to you by Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man.
Yeah, this will be the second to last episode of this season. We'll have a season finale, and then we'll be done with season 4 finally.
Yeah, I think Pink Chicken still has it in her head that she wants to resurrect the wet versus dry brine video. We did the wet brine video. That's where we came up with Cronenberg. I think we're going to give you all a sequel to that horror classic and do the dry brine video
as
our season finale.
As our season finale.
Finale.
So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, folks. Don't forget to join us every Saturday at 2 p.m. for our live stream on YouTube. Don't forget we have bonfire.com t-shirts available for you lovely folks to purchase. Exit through the gift shop, as they say.
We have Facebook, we have Twitter, and we have Discord. So look us up on all those. I'll link those in our description.
We'll get this up either tonight or tomorrow onto Podbean, where we now feature over 10,000 downloads of the Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man show.
Woo!
Woo! We'll get that right one time.
Yes.
But other than that, folks, that is all for us. We are out of here. As always, I am Tom.
And I am Michelle, Pink Chicken.
And we are
Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man.